Okay, so I am going to give Lizzie a haircut today. If you guys haven't noticed, well, obviously you have, in the past, all three of my Shih Tzu have been in a full coat, and I generally groom them in a full coat. 2 out of 3 of my dogs, after the flea season this year, which was horrendous, have gotten haircuts. In Lizzie's case, I'm not going to grow her back out, I don't think, right away, because I think she looks super adorable in like her puppy cut. And it also gives me a chance, it gave me a chance to learn how to do the grooming myself. Initially, when I had her cut down, I took her to my local groomer, and then I purchased the materials that I needed. And now I'm just overall having a great time learning how to give her a haircut. And I think in the long run, she's going to stay in a puppy cut. Just because I really enjoy giving her a cut. However, I did also trim Stewie down. I did not cut Ellie. She's just so small. I thought she'd look like anorexic or something without all her hair. But, and she's easier to take care of. So while I was, bombing the house for fleas and treating the dogs, it wasn't a big deal, even with the long hair, for me to keep Ellie the way she was. The stew man did get a haircut. However, it is easier to groom him. His coat is so thick. He would have to be like super short, like a sheep, and I didn't want to do that to him, or I have to grow him out. And I'm choosing to grow him back out. But in the meantime, Miss Lizzie's going to help me to demonstrate how she gets a haircut. Now, I have purchased my wall Bravura. It is cordless, and I think it was like 150 bucks. It wasn't terribly expensive, and it comes with, I guess I'll go over what kind of clippers I use in another video, but it comes with the raw blade, which I didn't want to cut her down to the skin, so I'm using a comb attachment on her. And this is the smallest comb that came with the kit, and it's an 1/8 of an inch. And currently, she's grown out a little bit. I've been trimming her about every 2 weeks because it just saves like time on the prep work, because you do have to brush her out prior to giving her the haircut. You ready? Okay, she's ready. So what I want to do with her is I usually trim her head first, which I do use the clippers. And I'll hold her like right under the chin, if she decides she wants to be a little difficult. She's giving me that stubborn face, but I don't foresee she'll have too much of a problem. They're already used to the clippers because I give them a potty patch. So I do trim in the private areas. So they're already quite used to it. And I just wanted to mention, before I go and I clip her, that number one, if you're nervous, it's always better to start longer. And in the beginning, and still, right now, I don't necessarily cut her even, but that just comes over time. And I just want to use nice, even strokes. I don't want the clippers to get stuck in the fur, because it's kind of like you're scooping out a section of the coat. And I just want it to be even. She's my pet. She's not a show dog. And, I've taken her to have her nails trimmed, her ears cleaned, and the local groomers and even my vet, they ask me, where did you get her haircut? And then I'm all proud because I did it. So here we go. I'm going around her face. I kind of just scoop it out a little bit so I don't take too much of the ear hair off. or right around her eyes. But I'll go straight up the back of the head and just scoop up a little bit. Like, I don't want to dig down. I generally just do a scooping up motion. And I know none of this is kind of professional, so if we have any like professional groomers out there, don't yell at me. I'm trying to save myself like $60 every 6 weeks, which is why I groom at home. Okay. And at this point, I trim her eyelashes. I have like these little scissors that have like the rounded edge so I don't poke her in the eye. And I trim her eyelashes very carefully. You don't want to poke her in the eye. I always start with her head. And in this case, I'm really not going to do too much other than just to trim the length right on the top of her noggin, because I trimmed her a little short a couple of weeks back. So we're growing that out. And then I have my curved shear. And I really, at this point, because I'm sorry babies, trying to grow her out, I really just want to make sure she's got a nice crisp line. I'm not really going to take the length off. So I like the ear hair to be a little longer than her beard, her facial furnishings, because then I don't have to go crazy trimming underneath her chin. Find, just as a beginner, that it works better for me to let the ears grow a little longer, so I don't have to go crazy angling the hair underneath her ears. Now, she's not too unruly. She will allow me to pretty much put her in any position I need to. But at this point, I would just want to gingerly, very lightly, just going to go right down her back. And I want to take care to avoid the ear hairs. I want to avoid the tail. And I just want to trim right down her back. And a nice even stroke. Just go down the side of the dog a little. I just like to follow the natural lines of her body. I mean, even if you don't, it's all trial and error. The first couple of times I tried to clip her, I hacked her up a little bit, but I left the coat long, so you can always go back. Okay. Now I have to mention that when I'm using the clip-on combs, the coat tends to get stuck in them. So it comes with like a little cheesy brush, and then I end up having to stop and clean it out, because otherwise it pulls on her. And I did feel some resistance at the back of the neck, so I just go back and work it out. See, I like to keep the ear hair out of the way. I'm growing some of that ear hair back out because, in the beginning when I started cutting her, I clipped the ear hair too short. found that I really like it when she's in the puppy pet. Reminds me of when she was a baby. And generally, she just looks cute. Like, I mean, it's not really my thing to cut my dogs all the way down to the skin. Like, I know some people, you know, they do it for maintenance reasons. You don't have to take the dog to the groomer. But part of the reason that I chose this breed was because of the grooming. I'm not shy at all about the grooming. Okay, so now that I'm fairly confident that I have some of the length taken off of her, I went straight down the back. I'm going to do her legs. After I'm finished giving her her haircut, I will wash her and then just touch up anywhere I need to touch up. So her legs I am still a little confused about because she's very bulky in the legs. She has a lot of hair, and as you can tell, like, I'm still not doing like the best job in some of these areas. She's a little long, but I find that it's okay. My preference is to have a shorter leg, but a lot of times the body could be a little shorter, and you would just leave the leg a little longer. So it's all preference. I don't find that there's a right way or a wrong way. I just have to think she looks cute when she does. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to run down without digging into the coat, just skim the surface and just lightly scoop away all down the length of the leg. I don't do really any hand scissoring. I don't find it's necessary for my purposes, but I could essentially, you know, go back and hand scissor her, which I might. See, now underneath, like the armpit, the hair is a little loose here, so you really have to be careful, even with the clippers, that you don't dig into the skin because it's very, like, fragile right under here. But you can see where the hair stays longer. So I'm actually gonna, instead of going with the grain of the hair like I have been, I'm gonna go against it just to take this extra length off under her armpit. Sorry, I have to clean up the hair tonight. And then I guess I can go back. I just have my safety scissors. And you have to be very careful, you know where the skin is, and just take off where I'm not quite getting it with the clippers. On the underneath, like I said, I like to go against the grain of the hair just because I want to get off some of that bulk underneath the armpit. And take the opportunity to blend in the shoulder down the leg. I guess, like, if I could, you know, give you a nice tip, it's just to make an even cut. For me, that's what kind of looks best with her. It's just nice and even. It's not a big deal because she's my pet. Okay, so I'm gonna do the back leg. Make sure that her tail is not in the way. And just try to evenly trim her down the length of the leg, blending from her, you know, like the top of her behind, all the way down the length of the leg. See, it feels good too, so she'll stick her little legs out at me. She likes it. I have to clean out my clippers again. Okay. So see, now she has a hairy butt. This is where, like, normally I give her a potty patch. So I have my Brav Mini, and without touching her butt, I just skim the surface straight down to her private area and give her a little potty patch. Now, my Brav Mini doesn't have I believe it's like a number 30 blade. It only has one size. Like, I mean, they make little clip-ons for it, but they don't work. So she gets more of a closer cut right on the butt. And then it's the same. It's going to be the same in the back. She has a little knot right here above her tail, which for the sake of this video, I'll work out later. So we'll move her tail out of the way, and just nice and even, I'm going to trim her behind. Without digging the clippers. And like this usually ends up a little longer too. So I might go in the opposite direction, but right now she's a little, like, you could tell where she's a little knotty because I can't get the clippers through. So pretty much I would just go and repeat on the other side. You know, I'm just going to do a nice even stroke down the sides of the body, down the legs, okay. Alright, and then I'm also going to hold her ears back, and I'm going to just trim down the sides of her neck, up under her chin, and down her chest. I like to leave the coat under the ears long, like this area, you know, because I want to do a minimal amount of work. I'm not a professional groomer, so I just let it flood. I wonder if you can see it. See, I trimmed it a little short initially, but I don't really trim that area. If anything, I'll just take my scissors and maybe even her out a little bit. And I'll lift up her paws to get underneath the armpits and down the belly. Wherever I can't reach, I'll feel for the hair, you know, like her skin, and I'll trim her. Okay, and I'm working with her to stand for me nice so I can go and even out underneath her body. But like, I guess in my case, because I've trained them to lay down, it's easier for me just to talk her into lying down nice. She had a little tangle. But anyways, easier for me to train her, you know, like, into, you know, having her lay for me nice. And then I can do the cleanup on her little belly. She stick her little foot out. Okay, so that is a very quick, because I'm still kind of new at it, so it's not a fast, it was actually faster, it's faster for me to like groom like Ellie, who's still in full coat, than it is to give out a little haircut. But that is the general idea. I have an 1/8 of an inch blade. I try to have an even coat length on the whole body. And I do a minimal amount of work because I'm not a professional groomer. And actually I like the results of, you know, I like what she looks like without having to go crazy. So you want to sit nice. So that is how I give Miss Lizzie a haircut.